Good afternoon and welcome to Covfeed News.
It has just gone 4 p.m. and we have the latest here for you today.
Today, the Coventry City Council have announced savings that are needed in order to make a balanced budget.
These cuts may reach up to tens of millions of pounds in the next few years. Our finance correspondent, Jack Wolf, asked people what they thought.
At the moment, and so these kind of key programmes, especially things like access to social care and also like leisure activities like free parking at Memorial Park, they're really important and helpful in just living life at the moment, and losing those can be quite detrimental to some. No, I mean, you look at it and local councils all over the country are struggling. Local councils are fundamentally what provide the bulk of support, I think, to residents. It's local programmes that know what local people need, and so if you cut that funding, you're going to screw a lot of people over.
Yeah, I'm a visitor to Coventry, but I've been visiting a friend who works in social care with kids who've been through the care system, and she's worried about cuts being made to their service because they're struggling already. And it feels like so many of the local councils are struggling, and in this area it seems like there's a lot of need and a lot of poverty. A lot of kids who've, had traumatic experiences that need a lot of work, really. And it's not a good situation. The funding for local council needs to be improved, and hopefully with the new government it will be, but it doesn't feel like it at the moment, so it's a bit sad.
Well, in the first place, I'm an international student here, so I don't drive or anything, so it doesn't affect me in the parking way. But I'm sure that people who live here get affected in the first place, either from parking or from other stuff they want to do, and due to the fundings they cannot do them in the way they want. Moreover, I would say, maybe it's not the council's fault. They are underfunded. They should do something in order to get more funds, since us, while being here, we should have more push in order to be able to live our life here in a different way, not be so economically stranded.
Richard Brown said this regarding the cuts in a press release. "I do believe this government is more sympathetic to public services, but they can't start to fix 14 years of underfunding that has seen unprecedented rises in demand and costs overnight."
But this isn't set in stone. Councillor Brown added, "But it is important to stress that no decisions have been made. A final list will be shared with Cabinet members on the 10th of December before we consult with the public."
Jack's here in the studio to explain more about this emerging story. So, Jack, I should start by asking, what will be affected by the cuts?
Thanks for having me, Joe. Now, over 80% of the council's budget is primarily involved with three things: homelessness, adult social care, and children's social care. So any cuts to the budget will therefore affect these areas most directly. It is expected that the council could save up to £2 to £3 million per year in adult social care and up to £4 million per year in children's social care. This would impact those services dramatically, as they are already comparatively underfunded. Now, the effects won't stop there. They will be wide-ranging. There will be less cleaning of streets and local parks, with a prioritisation of certain areas. No free parking in Memorial Park, something that is expected to save the council up to £150,000 in a year. And a lowering of the maximum council tax discount to 75% could save £850,000 annually.
But why are these cuts necessary?
In simple terms, Katie, it's either this or bankruptcy. According to their press release, Coventry's core spending power has fallen by £1.5 billion in 14 years. That's more than £100 million on average every year. They then say that leaves roughly £655 less to spend on every Coventry household. Councils across the country are reporting similar situations, with the famous example of Birmingham Council's bankruptcy last year. So it seems systemic underfunding of local councils are going to be an ongoing issue for this Labour government.
Thanks, Jack. We'll have to wait and see how this develops after the council meeting on December 10th.
Now, in today's top stories, West Midlands Police have added 12 new criminals on their most wanted list. The men and women pictured are wanted on suspicion of crimes from recall to prison to murder. If you recognise any of these people, please contact West Midlands Police.
A planning application has been submitted to transform a large detached property in Wolverhampton into a children's home. The property is currently split into 4 residential apartments, but Horizon Transitional Care has applied to Wolverhampton Council for the permission to turn it into a care home for 4 children.
Police have praised a truck driver who shielded a woman on the motorway. She had been travelling on the A34 near Birmingham on her mobility scooter, and the truck driver used his hazards to warn other drivers. Officers were able to successfully escort the woman off the motorway.
2 drug kingpins have been jailed for nearly 20 years at Wolverhampton Crown Court after being found with over £300,000 in cash and 6 kilos of cocaine. Jermaine Doran and George Morris were caught selling 79% cocaine to suppliers earlier this year in May.
Coventry City Council have received reports of fraudulent penalty charge notices around the city. Each notice contains fake QR codes that are designed to trick users into entering their payment information on bogus websites that would then steal their information. Trading standards urge everyone to stay alert and only use official payment methods.
A pub near Willenhall has transformed into a Christmas wonderland with the help of 60,000 Christmas lights. The milestone and new invention has well and truly embraced the Christmas spirit, with bright, colourful lights adorning the inside and the outside of the building. The manager and other staff have been working to put up these lights since the start of November.
And the Strictly Come Dancing Celebrity 2024 Christmas lineup has been revealed by the BBC. The stars this year are Josh Widdicombe, Tacey, Vogue Williams, Harry Akinas Arty, Tamsin Outhwaite and Billy Munger. The Christmas special will air on BBC One on Christmas Day.
And now with another successful Movember campaign coming to an end.
Movember is much more than moustaches. It's a movement tackling critical issues like prostate cancer, testicular cancer and men's mental health. With suicide being one of the leading causes for death worldwide for men, this campaign encourages open conversations and aims to break the stigma surrounding mental health.
Joining us here today to explore these issues further is our reporter, Pei Anigbokan. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
So, Pei, what would you say the main aims of November are?
Well, the main aims of November are breaking the stigma surrounding mental health and encouraging men to seek support and talk about their feelings, whilst also promoting a healthy lifestyle to reduce risk factors for both mental and physical illnesses.
And how big of a problem are we really facing with men's mental health right now, would you say?
Well, men's mental health is a growing problem globally and often referred to as a silent crisis due to the social stigma around it. Men account for 75% of suicides worldwide, according to the World Health Organization, which is a huge, scary number.
What change is the campaign calling for?
Well, Movember does call for better prevention strategies to address the high rates of male suicide through mental health education and intervention program to also encourage men to check in with their friends, families and colleagues just to make sure there's a culture of care and connection.
All right, thank you so much for that, Pei. That's
Of course.
incredibly interesting.
Now, Jaguar is set to unveil their new concept at the Miami Art Week tonight. But images of their new car have been leaked, and if the rebranding was controversial, the car is dividing the internet even more.
The concept of their first all-electric car under the new brand is meant to go into production in the next 2 years. We have our automotive correspondent, Sid Arthur May, here with us to explain more. Sid.
Thank you, Joe. Now, let's break down everything we know about the car. We know it is a complete departure from Jaguar's design language of the past, and it also boasts their brand new logo. The car itself is meant to be a 4-seater, but has only 2 visible doors. The front also has a sleek headline design and their new grille. Obviously, this being an electric car, it doesn't need a grille, but this is a part of their new design philosophy. The rear view mirrors are also now cameras under the new Jaguar logo on the side.
So, I'm looking at the picture of this car, Sid, but I'm not exactly sure what it's meant to be. Can you give us a bit of a clue?
Well, good question, Katie. I'm not quite sure either. We know it's meant to be something related to the charging of the car, but I don't know what the protruding device actually is. It is something we've never actually seen before in a concept car. I guess we'll find out more tonight. Moving on to the rear of the car, as you can see, there is no visible rear window, a very bold design choice, which may or may not make it to the actual production car, as it may not be allowed by laws and regulations. The rear of the car is also very polarizing, with a great light design.
So can we have a look at the interior then?
Well, we sure can. And the interior is also very different. Keep in mind, this is a concept, so the interior of the actual car may look a lot different than the one we see here, because the car is meant to go into production much later. We expect some sort of autonomous driving, which is clearly evident here. It is very, very minimalistic in nature, something we have seen in all new cars recently.
And when do you think this car is going to be on the roads? Like, when are we going to actually see one?
Well, the car is meant to go into production in the summer of 26, and each car should cost close to £100,000. I have a feeling the production car may look quite a bit different to the concept that we see here.
Okay.
Well, that's all from us. Be sure to check the Covfeed website for a more in-depth look at the Coventry City Council budget cuts.
And be sure to check our socials at Covfeed CU, where you can find out about the current controversy surrounding Greg Wallace.
Thank you for watching. This has been Joe.
And this has been Katie. Thank you and goodbye.